So we have been talking about spirit in motion, being the transformation. And as we have discussed, for the last 2 weeks, this involves 4 stages, and we've gone over each one. Today's the 3rd stage. The first one was dissolving. The second, imagining. Today, 3rd one is reforming. And then next week is flying. Which all of this occurs in an ever-transcending spiral, always going upwards. We don't go backwards, always going upwards. And remember our definition of transformation. It is more than changing, more than becoming, more than just being involved. It is being a brighter and greater version of ourselves. To transform is to become something or someone that heretofore has not existed. So we are always becoming new. And as a reminder, spiritually, we know that there is nothing to transform, not in spirit. We are already whole, complete, and absolutely perfect. We're already divine, and we know this. But sometimes we cloud it over with beliefs, with stuff we hear or are inundated with. And this is transforming to rise above, to move through, and be the divinity that we truly are, no matter what. Transformation is becoming that which you already are. Babies know this. See the little babies, they come in, they are who they are. We have a little one there. She knows who she is. So we know who we are, but we forget. So that's what we do on Sundays. We remind ourselves, each other, that we are divine beings, and that can never be taken away from us. You are already God in expression, whole, perfect, and complete. Spiritually, as I said, we know this is true, but on this human plane, sometimes we don't feel whole, complete, and perfect, and that's perfectly okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're in human incarnation. So we are in the process always of peeling away the layers of false beliefs that we carry around with us so that our spiritual truth may shine forth. And every time we do that, we transform. And every time we transform, we move to a higher state of being, a happier state of being. Not only are we lifted up, but we lift others up as well. And you know that when you walk in a room and you're in a great space, you lift up that energy. Everything is energy. And that energy lifts people up, and it lifts us up. And so we've looked at dissolving, and that it is necessary in order for this transformation to occur. We talked about the caterpillar goes into the cocoon. That it has to dissolve and turn into that blob of DNA. It's just in there. Then last week, we looked at a phase of imagining. Imagining our life as we live it at this higher level of expression. Imagination begins the process of creating always. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, New Thought, not New Thought, but religious science, writes in a book that's out of print, but if you've been around it as long as I have, you might have this in your library, Application of the Science of Mind. I'm going to read it to you. There is a dynamic, principle of growth and development in the universe, which continually seeks greater expression above the purely physical aspect of growth and development of all things, something new and different makes its appearance in us, in the human. We discover in the function of mind, in the creative activity of thought, a continual urge to express and to discover. And the greatest activity of thought is that creation and expression. Our activity of thought is actually, think of that, our creativity of thought is actually a divine compulsion. In us, I'm still reading Ernest Holmes, but I keep taking over this too. Because I feel it. In seeking an ever-expressing achievement and expression through us, the forms an outlet for this self-conscious process of thought that we have appears as a unique creation of life in us. And it may manifest in different ways for some. The fulfillment of this inner drive may be found in a new home, a larger paycheck, increased business activity, greater health, as well as an increased desire for a greater spiritual awareness. All of these are urges, he says, of the indwelling intelligence, which we either choke down or give expression to. We cannot stand still. We have to continue to express this action of life within us, because if we deny it, if we deny ourselves this activity, we deny ourselves of the very creativity of life. There is no stagnation in divine consciousness. So there cannot be any stagnation in us. And if there is, we need to take a look at that and clear that out. Because we're in movement. Ideas are always creating and sparking new movement. It is through our imagining that the divine urge is activated in us. So it's very important to teach our children to imagine, because it is one of the highest faculties that we've never been taught, actually. We have been taught to suppress imagining and daydreaming. Do it. That is creativity expressing. And we all imagined last week, if you were here, we imagined something for ourselves. Something that spiraled us up into greater expressions of our God selves. If you remember, take a moment, if you were here, to remember what you imagined, what you thought of, and then we did prayer on it. And if you weren't here, well, you can watch it on YouTube, under my name, but take a moment to think right now in your imagination, the divine urge within you. What is calling you to be experienced, to be, to do? Just take a moment and think of that. So now this morning, our subject is becoming a reformed religious scientist, if you will. That could be a shocking statement. Reforming? We say we're reformed other things, but there's a reason that I entitled this Reforming Your Consciousness. Because you must be reformed in order for this transformation of our lives, which you have in your imagination, to take place. We're reforming our thoughts. We're reforming our way that we show up in the world. And it's a wonderful thing to be reminded of, to know we don't stay stuck. So we're reforming. So what shifts, changes, new ways of thinking, being, doing, are you prepared to engage in? A definition of an insanity that I'm sure we've all heard is doing things the same way and expecting a different result. Do we do that? A lot. So maybe we need to reform what we are thinking and doing. And here's the deal. If you're not willing to reform, you might just stay stuck in that dissolving stage, that first stage. The goo of the dissolving caterpillar. Because the caterpillar has to reform itself to become the butterfly. And we talked about the goldfish / dolphin. We talked about that. That was a great parable. I like that parable. To that goldfish that turned into a dolphin had been willing to reform itself, because he would have been in pretty big trouble if he was still that goldfish and was thrown in the ocean the way he was. And here's an even more sobering thought. It's either we evolve or we devolve. It's our choice, our choice. In that book, Practical Application of Science of Mind, Holmes writes, "It is a matter of common knowledge and observation that nothing in life can ever remain static, stand still. In considering our affairs, our health, or our relationships, a bettering or worsening of the situation, nature's edict appears to be grow and progress or regress." And as I said earlier, we don't want to go backward. We only move forward, always moving forward. Industrialist Charles Kettering once said, "The world abhors change, yet it is the only thing that has brought progress." And sometimes progress doesn't look like progress, but it doesn't stay the same, and change is a big thing. Things are always changing. We don't always like change, but change is a part of life. And so it's very important for us to remember. The only thing that can't change is our divinity, that we are all God expressing. That can't change. That's always there. It might not look it, we might not be able to see it, but it's always there. And Charles Kettering might have been referring to outside things when he said that about change, but we're talking about the inside. Our consciousness, the inside of us, holds true. It holds true. We must be willing to reform, which is why we work on, and I will always seem to be working on these beliefs that we've been dragging around. You know, I've been talking about this for so many years, and guess what? Every once in a while, that subconscious kicks in, and one of those old beliefs comes up that I thought I got rid of. Holmes calls that the second cropping, little bits of it. So we're always releasing that and embracing. And if you can't find anything to embrace, just be grateful, because gratitude shifts everything. For me, it does. I always go to gratitude. Be thankful. Be thankful for who we are and what we have. Edwin Gaines, in her booklet, she has many books, but she has a booklet, 12 Steps to Successful Achievement. In step number 4, she writes, "Be open and receptive to change. Pray daily, what must I change about myself in order to achieve my goals?" What must I change about myself to achieve my goals? When I have counseling sessions with someone, I often ask them, what is it they desire to feel? What do you want to feel? Because you can get things, but what do you want to feel from getting those things or doing those goals or activities? And then my prayer at the end is, whatever needs to be seen or understood, released, forgiven, reversed, accepted, or believed, whatever is needed so that that desired result may be made real in their lives. Let it come forth now. And I accept that it is so. So becoming a greater self, living the larger self-fulfilling, more fulfilling life, requires us to rethink how we've been living and relating to the world up until this point. Sometimes we just go through like a robot. It's becoming aware. Thoughts create. We know this. In order to be that which we see and feel, reformation must take place in our consciousness. And our consciousness is the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs, the values, the attitudes, and the actions that we go through all the time. And it most certainly is the order of the day to reform some of those if we don't like them. Or if things aren't going the way we expected them to go, then there's something going on within us that we need to take a look at. The responsibility always comes back to us, always. So I have an assignment for you, whether you choose to accept it or not. I've talked about this little movie before, Akeela, A-K-E-E-L-A, and the Bee. And if you haven't seen this little movie, I suggest that you watch it and remember that life goes through all of this process of dissolving, imagining, and most definitely reforming to bring Akeela to the transformation that she desires. It's all about transforming. So my friends, what is it? Where is your spirit? What is it for you? And what is your spirit, your higher self, the God essence within you that is waiting to fully emerge? What is calling you to reform it? Something in us is calling us always to reform. I think about that because it's different, and some days it's different than other days. So right now, once again, as I did last week, I want you to hold that idea in your mind of what is it you really wish to transform, to let go of, to be, whatever it is. Whatever that is. To bring about this higher expression of who you are. And so I invite you to close your eyes. And again, take a nice breath. Oh, and in this prayer, I am speaking my word for each and every person here, for myself and for everyone here, and everyone who is in our viewing audience as well. For we release anything that no longer serves us. We reform our thoughts to forms of a higher caliber. And we allow our imagination to take place, to really manifest itself into the most perfect fulfillment of our desires. For I know that infinite energy, loving presence, is always creating. It is the most powerful part of this force that we call God, what we call consciousness, that we call divine intelligence, it is that it creates. It has created all people. It has created all life. It has created all galaxies. It has created everything. It's pure energy, and there's no place that energy is not moving. It is always moving. And so in that movement, I know that myself and each and every one here is, as they are, open and receptive to receive their perfect good, are reforming that which no longer serves them, or stepping out as a bigger, greater version of who they truly are, and embracing it, and allowing that creativity, that imagination, that loving presence of this infinite energy to take place and direct and guide each and every one of us. We are always protected, we are always guided, we are always loved. We are never alone, never. And so I give thanks for knowing that. I give thanks for the manifestation and fulfillment of each and everyone's desire. I give thanks for all that is yet to unfold in each and everyone's life. For I know that there is no stagnation in divine mind. Therefore, there is no stagnation in myself and in any person here. I give thanks for that knowing, and I expect great good. And in that expectation, I release this word into that intelligent law of universal mind, where this word is made manifest in each of our lives in the most magnificent ways. I say thank you, life, and so it is.
And so it is.